There are certain questions that I have about life that honestly keep me up at night and impede my ability to go to sleep. Number one is, who's buying these courses from these guys on YouTube and TikTok who claim to be these multimillionaires? Who's actually buying them? And are you making money off it? Because if you are, please let me know. But again, I refuse to believe anybody's actually buying these guys' products, okay? I don't know who's doing it. Who's doing it? And again, if you are one of those people that bought the course, don't take offense to this. I'm just genuinely wondering who's buying all these courses, because everybody's selling one and these guys are making a fuck ton of money, it seems like. So again, that keeps you up at night. The second question is, who is leaving all these comments on porn videos? Who are these people that are commenting on a porn video? And also, why are these comments always so well written? These guys must all be English majors, because every time I see a comment on a porn video, it's so well written. I mean, it's honestly amazing. And also, when are they doing it? Are they leaving the comments before or after the video is done? I don't know, but honestly, that keeps me up at night. And the third question, and the most important question, the one that actually relates to this video, and the topic that I want to talk about today, is what happened to Brazil? What happened to the greatest national team in the history of football? Because this collapse, it's honestly embarrassing. As a football fan, I hate to see it. That 4-1 loss to Argentina yesterday in the Monumental was rock bottom in my opinion. And look, there is no shame in losing to Argentina. They've been, for the past 5 years, the best national team in the world. With Messi, without Messi, it doesn't matter. Lionel Scaloni is one of the best international managers football's ever seen, and he proves it every single time Argentina take the pitch. The guy is honestly amazing. And losing to Argentina in the Monumental, again, no one's going to kill them for that. But the way that they lost, it's honestly embarrassing. They quit out there, man. They quit. I was watching the Venezuela game and the Brazil game, obviously both at the same time, because Venezuela is obviously my team and I wanted to see how we played against Peru. And luckily, we got that 1-0 win in Maturin with that goal from Salomon Rondon. I love you, but anyway, this is not about Venezuela. Let's get back to Brazil. I was watching that game and I was honestly in awe, because I look at that Brazil team and first of all, that starting lineup, it's shit. Vinicius obviously amazing, Rodrigo's amazing, Rafinha's amazing, Marquinhos is a good player, but the rest of that team, man, I mean, Joe Linton, Wesley, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Even that goalkeeper that plays for Arnold Sear, I don't recognize this Brazil team, bro. And even if you look at that team that they had in the Copa America back in 2021, or even the World Cup in 2022, that was obviously 3 and 4 years back. It's a long time, but not that long. Those teams are so much better. There's no way Brazil lost that much quality in the span of 3 years. I understand that national teams have quick turnarounds or turnovers, but still, bro, I mean, when you look at that Brazil team that made the Copa America final against Argentina and lost in the quarterfinals against Croatia in the World Cup, they are so much better than this. Was Neymar carrying this team for that whole time? I don't know. But that's not Brazil quality. That starting 11 is not Brazil quality. Again, Rafinha, Vinicius, and Rodrigo are all world class. But the rest of these guys, man, they're just not that good. And, you know, this fall off has been happening for a while. Brazil keep breaking all these records, but they're not good records. They're not good records. That loss yesterday to Argentina was their worst loss ever in CONMEBOL qualifying. They had never lost by more than 2 goals up until yesterday. This is the worst start ever, I'm pretty sure, in qualifying. They lost in the Maracanã for the first time in I don't know how long, when they lost to Argentina, I think like 8 months ago in September. So they're breaking all these terrible records. And again, we're talking about Brazil, by far and away the greatest national team of all time. By far and away, 5-time World Cup winners, the most all time. Nobody, like Germany's obviously second and Italy's second with 4, but Brazil has 5. They've never not qualified for a World Cup. The only nation that can say that is Brazil. The World Cup first took place back in 1930. And every World Cup since then, they've taken part in. Every World Cup. You know how insane that is? That means they've never really had a bad generation. They've always been amazing. But, and like, some of the greatest players to ever play the game have worn that kit. Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, R9, Carlos Alberto, Cafu, Neymar, Pelé, I mean, Garrincha, you name it, bro. Socrates. Like I said, if you're an all-time great, chances are you've played for Brazil or you're a Brazilian. That's how good this team has been. And when you look at this team now, they don't represent that nation well at all. It's embarrassing to watch them play. And I was actually rooting for Brazil in this game because, full disclosure, I only care about Argentina when Messi plays. I'm not an Argentina fan. I wanted Brazil to win because Rafinha plays on Argentina. There's no Barcelona players on Argentina, so I don't give a fuck about Argentina. The day that Messi retires from the national team, I will not care about Argentina. I have one national team, and that's Venezuela. That is it. I wanted Messi to win the World Cup, but once he did that, I don't give a fuck about Argentina. So I was actually rooting for Brazil yesterday. I wanted to see them win. And also because I think that Argentina team is kind of unlikable, bro. They're like I don't want to associate with their shenanigans and whatever. Like, that's besides the point. But my point is, I was rooting for Brazil. I wanted to see them do well. But boy, was I disappointed. And I don't see where this Brazil team, how they regain that golden generation that they had throughout their history. I want to call it a golden generation, but honestly, Brazil's whole history has been a golden generation. I don't see how they get back to that. Because yes, they have good young talent, but nothing special. And I would like to think that Rafinha, Vinicius Jr., and Rodrigo can maybe take this team back to what it once was, but that's just not enough, man. It's just not enough. When I was growing up watching Brazil, they were the national team. I remember the Copa America like it was yesterday back in 2007. It was in Venezuela. I remember the way that Brazil dominated Argentina on that day. They dominated them on that day. It was honestly not even close. I remember so many times that Brazil spanked Venezuela. They made me cry so much when I was a little kid, bro. Brazil made me cry so many tears because of how badly they beat Venezuela. But if you look at Brazil now, they're playing like Venezuela. They play like Venezuela have historically throughout my life, and that is not a compliment because Venezuela throughout my lifetime up until recently were by far and away the worst team in CONMEBOL. Worse than Bolivia. Yes, worse than Bolivia. And now, when you look at Venezuela and Brazil, Venezuela looks like the better team. And again, that should not be the case. You are Brazil. You're not Venezuela. Okay? Like, you should be better than this. And when I looked at that game yesterday, more specifically, the team looked dead. The midfield was getting dominated, bro. They were getting dominated. And all 4 goals, it was just lazy defending. It was just lazy, man. It looked like they weren't even trying out there. And with the comments that Rafinha made, you would think that his teammates were going to try and back him up and obviously help him, back up his words. And they didn't do that. And Rafinha, I love him. Obviously, you guys know, a Barca player, and I was rooting for him. I wanted to see them win because of Rafinha. Rafinha didn't really back up his talk either. They went in there to the Monumental and got spanked by Argentina. And again, Argentina have been amazing throughout the past 4 years. World Cup champions, defending World Cup champions, and back-to-back Copa America champions. The best national team in the world, in my opinion. But at least show some fight. This is the biggest rivalry in football. In international football, there's not a bigger game than Brazil-Argentina. It is the game. Doesn't matter if it's a friendly, or it's a qualifier, or they're playing in a final of the Copa America, or they're playing in the World Cup. This is the game. This is the game that you circle on your calendar when you play for one of those countries. And to watch the performance that Brazil put out there, to watch that display, I feel bad for their fans because they deserve better than that. Because they've been accustomed to so much greatness over the past, throughout their whole history. Apart from the 7-1, obviously, back in 2014. But again, apart from that, it's mostly been amazing times. But Brazil have been on a downward spiral for the past, 4 years? And I don't know how they regain that form. They got to get rid of that manager, man. That manager sucks. He sucks, but again, he doesn't have much to work with. He just doesn't have much to work with. And I wish I could sit here and offer a solution, but I can't. And to talk about Argentina briefly, man, that team is dominant. Argentina is so good. With Messi, without Messi, they come out to play. That squad is so well balanced and they play for each other, man. They have so much chemistry. You can tell now why they've been so successful over the past, 4 or 5 years. Because they really care. And in Brazil, don't care. One team cared last night, the other team didn't care. And it was reflected in the scoreline. So again, when I look at Brazil and I look at their history and I look at what they've accomplished, you expect those players to play with a little bit more pride. You're representing Brazil. That badge on your, that crest is the Brazilian crest. It has 5 stars for a reason. And you're playing like if that crest had no stars. It's got to be better than that, man. It's got to be better than that. Like, I was watching this game and I was honestly like, what am I watching right now? Genuinely, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what am I watching? How am I watching Venezuela play Peru? And these 2 teams are playing better than Brazil playing against Argentina. I honestly don't know. Again, it's one of the questions that keeps me up at night. Because Brazil, throughout my lifetime, up until recently, were the team in international football. They were the team. And I understand they haven't won a World Cup since 2002. And they honestly haven't made a semifinal or even a final since 2002, which is kind of crazy. But still, every time Brazil take the pitch in an international game, you fear them. Or at least you did. And now nobody fears Brazil. Argentina were toying with them yesterday, bro. They were mocking them. Rafinha was getting rattled. They were getting made fun of by all the Argentina players. It was sad to watch. It was honestly sad to watch. And this rivalry for a long time was lopsided in terms of Brazil were the dominant team. And now it's shifted all the way to Argentina are just toying with them, man. So, again, if you're a Brazil fan, I want to know what you think. Is it because, and you know what's crazy? The Brasileirão is the best league in South America by far. So you would expect, that league to produce some better talent, but they really don't. And, they have quality players in Europe, but a lot of them have just faded already. I mean, guys like Fabinho, guys like Casemiro, guys like Neymar, guys like Thiago Silva, they're all aging or injured all the time, like Neymar is. So you don't have those veterans anymore on that team. But again, you have good enough pieces to where it should be better than this. There's no way it can be this bad. I refuse to believe it should be this bad for Brazil. I refuse to believe it. I reject it entirely. But again, it's the reality. I can reject it all I want, but it's the reality. We're living in the world where Brazil are that bad. I mean, honestly, I'm going to read the starting 11 to you, bro. I'm going to read the starting 11 to you from last night, and you tell me how the fuck this is Brazil quality. Krebsky in goal. Homie plays for Al Nassr. Wesley at right back. Marquinhos, who's good now, great at center back. Murillo, who's having a decent season for Nottingham Forest at center back. So again, he's not bad, but come on. When you compare it to Brazil's center backs of the past, he should not be there. Arana at left back. Andre and Joe Linton as their midfielders. And then Cunha as the center attacking mid. And then their front three was Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha. That front three is as good a front three as you will find in football, honestly. You will not find three better players than that in the front three. But they can't do it all, man. And when you look at that bench, bro, I mean, Savinho coming off the bench, Endrick. Who the fuck is Perry, bro? The goalkeeper. Lucas Perry. He plays for Lyon. Alexandro's still part of this team, even though he's 34 years old. I mean, come on. I mean, no. Like, that's just not quality enough, man. Brazil was like that well that never ran dry. Like, that never went dry. It seemed like every single decade in football, if you look at a Brazil squad, they had quality in the starting 11. They had quality throughout their whole starting 11. From goalkeeper all the way to striker, they had some sort of quality. That's why they've been the most successful national team in the history of football. But now, that is not quality. That is not a good team. That is not a team that you can look at as a Brazil fan. I'm assuming, obviously I'm not a Brazil fan, but if I was a Brazil fan, I cannot look at that squad and be confident. And I don't think any Brazil fan, like, I understand they beat Uruguay in the previous game, which is a good win. Or they beat Colombia, actually. Was it Colombia or Uruguay? I'm pretty sure it was Uruguay, no? Let me check, actually, because I don't want to get this wrong. I should know this because I am a sucker for Commonwealth qualifying, but there's so many games. They beat Colombia. Sorry, they beat Colombia 2-1. Which, again, Colombia made the Copa America semifinal, made the Copa America final in July. So Colombia are, I don't think they're the second best national team in South America, but they're in the conversation. I think Ecuador has an argument to be there too. But anyway, you beat Colombia at home, like 4 days ago, and you expect that, like, you expect that to get the ball rolling. And then you see the performance against Argentina and you're like, damn, that win meant nothing. So again, I just wanted to come on here and rant about Brazil for some reason. I don't know why I rant about these teams that I don't support, but I love football so much, man. I sat there and watched yesterday, and I was just disappointed. I was honestly disappointed, but yeah, man. Those are some of my thoughts about Brazil. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think Brazil can bounce back? Do you think this team has any life left in it? I honestly don't know, but I'd love to know your thoughts. And yeah, man, I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.